This video is sponsored by iFixit. This should be interesting. What, do they just throw all the parts in there with hardly any packaging? I paid $99 for a broken PS4 Pro on eBay, and this one sounds like it'll be interesting to try and fix. Let's do this. All those loose screws just sound so bad. Okay, we do have a little bit of packaging, that's good news. Power supply. Random screw. More random screws. Top plastic. That's not good news. That's a little capacitor off of the motherboard. Bottom plastic. The optical audio port. At this point, I'm guessing the motherboard is just laying in here and shaking around during transport, probably just knocked all these parts off. Thermal pads. Here is the mid frame. And we have the bottom metal, which is definitely bent up. Check this out. Look at that. Luckily, that's easily bendable. So here's the mid frame. We don't have a disk drive yet, and we don't have the motherboard. I really hope they actually included that. Okay, and here we have the motherboard. We got the power supply prongs bent. Oh, the whole entire motherboard is bent. Wow, that could be bad. And here is the optical audio port. Can't tell if this works or not, but the port itself needs to be fixed. This might be where that capacitor came off. I'll have to double check and look. I think that's where it came off, so I'll need to replace that as well. Pretty worried about this bend though. That's never a good sign because when it bends, sometimes it can break the internal traces. These motherboards have, I think, about 6 layers. So there's a bunch of little tiny traces going in between the layers. And if it bends, obviously it can break those traces. So I'm not real hopeful on this part, but you never know. Let's get the rest of the parts out and see what we got. And we have no disk drive. I'm gonna double check and see if the listing included that. I thought it did, but I could be wrong. After looking back through the listing, the disk drive was definitely not included. I'm not sure why I thought it was. For some reason I did, so this isn't as good of a deal as I thought it was. I mean, assuming it is fixable, but I'll still put a disk drive in it and see if we can get it all working. I think that's everything. I mean, who knows how many of these screws were lost in shipping, but oh well. So let's assess what we have here and see if there's enough to make this thing work. I think there is based on what I see. Obviously I'll need to put a disk drive in, but I'm not totally sure that motherboard is fixable, so it's all gonna depend on that. It looks like I have most of what I need, so I'm gonna get started on the assembly. First thing I need to do is see if we have a good mid-frame that will work. The only thing I really notice is this power supply connection point, mounting point is broken a little bit, but it actually looks like it'll work fine. There's enough there I think I can connect it to. Other than that, everything else looks pretty good on here. Fan works nicely. Nothing's bent or broken other than that one connection point for the power supply. So I'm gonna start with this mid-frame, put a disk drive in, get the bottom plate on, and then we need to repair the motherboard and get the motherboard in. I'm gonna be using the iFixit ProTech toolkit for this repair. It's got all the tools I need, and if you're not familiar with how to put together a PS4 or tear one down, you can go right to ifixit.com to the repair guide section, and you can find all the information you need about how to tear it down and how to put it back together. Also, if you're gonna buy one of these, you can use my code below, ifixit.com/TronicsFix for a discount coupon code. Now that the metal plate is installed, it's time to repair the motherboard. If the disk drive on your PS4 isn't working, one of the first things to check is the fuses. That fuse is good. That fuse is good. And this fuse is not good. So I'm guessing what happened with this PS4 is the disk drive was faulty, or so they thought, when it was actually just a blown fuse. So they took it all apart, tried to replace the disk drive. When that didn't work, they probably got frustrated and sold it on eBay for parts. So we gotta get this fuse replaced, and then we'll be able to get the motherboard into the midframe. Now we have that fuse replaced, let's test it and make sure there's continuity through the circuit. And there is. So that was likely the only problem with this entire motherboard originally. We'll see if this bend caused any other issues. I'm gonna get it installed into the midframe now, and then we'll get it all put back together to test it. Not yet. Not yet. Ah, there. Perfect. While originally I thought I got a pretty good deal on this PS4 Pro, I didn't realize that it didn't come with a disk drive just because I wasn't careful enough when buying it, so I probably won't be able to make too much on selling this one, but you never know. Don't forget to go to ifixit.com/TronicsFix if you're looking for any iFixit tools. The PS4 Pro is fully assembled. Do you think it's gonna work? Let's try it out. So here we go. Let's see if it's gonna work. Great news, the eject button works, but will it turn on? Good. The light's staying blue. We need to turn white and come up on the screen. Yes, checking system storage. This is good. This will tell us whether the hard drive's good, and after it's done checking, it should come up with the PS4 dashboard. Let's see if it does. Yes, we got the PS4 logo, and here we go. We have it up on the dashboard. If you like this video, you'll probably like another video I did recently where I bought 3 broken Xbox One X's and tried to fix them, and I actually made money on that lot. I'll put the link up on the screen now so you can come over and see if I got all 3 of those Xbox One X's fixed. This PS4 Pro is working great despite the fact that the motherboard was bent. I was definitely not sure I was going to be able to get this one working, but now it's working great. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope you have a good one.